One thing?
Doesn't matter how many times you've done a startup, it's still damn hard when you do it again. I think that's what makes it great, is because, doing something really difficult and then, accomplishing it or achieving it is the best kind of fun and joy outside of the joy for others, that you have that I've ever experienced.
Spending time with family and being there for moments that I needed to be there for. I learned more in the last year and a half probably than I did in the prior 10 years because I thought I was an expert on wholesale operations. I thought I was an expert on Google Analytics and, just all things digital media. Sometimes you don't realize how much more there is to a sector or to a space until you are around the goats of that space to realize how much further there is to go.
I have spoken and met and now have lifetime friends in our industry, and it's because these people are so phenomenal. They're so brilliant, and in every aspect, you can tap anyone on the shoulder and be like, hey, I got a question about that. And they'll answer you. Like, I don't know too many industries that you can just reach out to anybody, and whether you need help, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, hey, I need a vent, I've got some questions about professional aspirations. That has been one of the coolest things for me to see, is that just when I thought the people couldn't get any better, this year has proved that tenfold. And the second part of that is that with the show, I have been almost shocked in a good way that the guests always get to pick their topics, as you well know. And I just said, the overwhelming one would be leadership. And I'm getting this from a lot of fixed ops individuals. Now, there are some that aren't, the majority were fixed ops. And it was just like, man, for the rap and stereotypical responses or stereotypes we put on our departments, maybe think again, because once again, those people are so incredible and they really do care about, hey, how can we better our leadership? How can we better our culture? These are not just buzzwords. They're actually something we want to do and improve upon that to make our industry better, make our clients better, make our employees better, make the workplace better. So to me, it all comes down to the incredibleness of the people.
Anything can happen and you have to be ready for it. I think that's something that the last 4 years, but 2023 was definitely a realization for me on that. Business, personally, physically, everything. Anything can happen. Just have to be ready for it, my friend.
One thing I learned in 2023 is that no matter how aggressive, inspired, motivated, and driven a person is in automotive, all it takes is COVID shutdown and really high gross profits to turn lean and mean into fat and lazy. And I don't know if you can use that or not, but that's what I learned. I mean, let's keep it real here. ASOTU, let's keep it real. There's a lot of fat and lazy out there right now, man. A lot of fat and lazy. Or at least there was. Now they're all trying to get back in shape.
The thing I've learned is that irrelevant and irrespective of what we develop in terms of technology and everything else, in this ecosystem, the car business, we need the people. We absolutely need the people. And without people, we can't really get things moving. I understand that, people are very much in tune with all the digital platforms and everything else, and they're necessary. I think there's definitely the need for that, but nothing moves the needle like the people behind this business, So, which goes really well with the ASOTU's slogan, love people more than you love cars, right? I have kind of taken that one personally, and I can say I've even owned the shirt. So,
because it was a really good year, and it was a really busy year, and there was really hard things that happened. So I think the overall learning is, which I already kind of know, is slowing down. Because I've been on such this growth path and seeing a lot of momentum, but I'm also there's so much good happening that I'm okay, I need to just slow down and embrace and celebrate what I've achieved so far, and also keep on going too. I get overwhelmed with all the things I want to do and all the things that we can do to improve. And that was the other takeaway of this year of just pick one thing.
Honestly, listening. I know that's something that people feel that they naturally have, but when they say you listen to understand and not listen to respond, that's been the hugest thing I've had to learn, especially coming from an OEM. Even though we do have certain, I guess, check marks we have to check off, we also have to be listening to what the dealer's doing, basically what's working and what's not. Just because it's working up in Detroit, or what they think it may work up there may not be working, let's say, like in the Nashville market. So really learning to listen to what they have to say and using that feedback and giving it back to leadership has been the ultimate thing to learn in basically this year in this job.
How to effectively do a downhill ride on my mountain bike, and it's just been remarkable. And and I know selling cars and acquiring inventory is really important, but man, when a guy my age can stay on a mountain bike through some real twists and turns, that's really important.
I think the biggest thing was collabing with other people. What I'm seeing in our industry this year a lot of brilliance coming from people coming together. And so I plan on, keeping that going in 2024 and beyond, because we really are so much more powerful together when we come together and put our strengths and talents with one another.
So the thing about this year is that everyone, and I mean everyone, has had an opinion about EVs and or a burning question. I didn't feel like at some point your mom asked you what the range was on a Tesla and whether or not she could go from Center City, Philly to King of Prussia on one charge. I'm about 99.9% certain that actually happened last week. Which is good, we should be talking about it, all the good, the bad, the messiness in between, and pushing back. I'd also like to point out that we are indeed living in interesting times when Fredericks of Hollywood, a dying lingerie brand that was in malls across America, transitions into Centro, a Chinese EV manufacturer. Now we are living in some crazy times. It's called a rebrand. Google it.
Negative talk is constantly around you, and it's really hard to stay positive because of all of the things on social media. 1 minute this is in vogue, then 2 weeks later it's bad for you. And I think everybody's just searching for some sense of truth, but it all starts with you. So the better you can keep that negative voice out of your head, the better you'll be.
Connecting with people and providing a more personalized and customized approach is what people like you and me want. So when it feels robo, it feels scripted, it feels from the 80s, any of that old school stuff, like that's not gelling with people today. And you have to have a true interest in just finding something in common with people and spending time with people. And when you circle yourself around people that have similar interests than you, then it's easier for you to grow too and nurture your own career progress.
I have a really, really strong, good team, and the value of delegating. And so I always want to be involved with my clients, intimately involved across the board. But I mean, my team is so strong. So I think the power of delegation is what I learned the most this year.
How do I focus on really cultivating those relationships that are really focused on, bettering themselves, educating themselves, and even on a dealer standpoint, selling that customer? How do I focus on those customers that are actually paying attention to me? Then once those customers or people that aren't, say they weren't interested, they're going to see the successes that my customers had when buying a car with me, or they're going to see the successes that they had by listening to my car sales advice, and then they're going to follow suit.
I guess I've learned that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because I've been involved in a lot of podcasts, and I'm pretty sure that the complaints and the concerns I hear are exactly the same they would have been in 1930. Sales and service aren't getting along. I'm wasting half of my advertising. I wonder which halves. It's you don't have to be very introspective to realize it still comes down to the same thing. People, how you communicate with them and how you want to be perceived and how you perceive them. I'm a car salesman. I can't answer anything in less than 11 minutes. It's like a Shakespeare soliloquy, only everything doesn't rhyme.
As great as we are at partnerships and promoting partnerships, that even as far as we were, and that's a lot what we're helping our clients with, no matter how far you think you are developing your partnerships, and not just your collegiality and your relationships, but true partners contributing to each other's businesses, there's still so much runway. There's still so much opportunity. And the more time you invest in it, the more payoff there is for everyone. Everyone wins.